say COVID has dominated for the parish council, along with planning matters, and in particular, obviously, those relating to the coach and horses. COVID restrictions had an immediate impact upon the working of the council. One regular meeting and the AGM were cancelled entirely, and for the remainder of the year, meetings were held over Zoom, as we all know. The use of such technology has had the unfortunate effect of excluding some village members, but it has also encouraged others to attend who might otherwise not have done so. The first national lockdown commenced in March 2020, and the council decided it was appropriate to produce a newsletter whose purpose was to act as both reporter and liaison for locals confined to their homes. In all, 4 editions were produced, and my thanks go to Chris Kennett and especially Jane Thickness for their outstanding contributions. The entire village came together at this testing time to ensure vulnerable members of the community were supported and not allowed to feel isolated. As mentioned earlier, planning issues occupied a great deal of both the clerk and my time throughout the year. Unauthorised building work at the Coach and Horses was first reported to the County Council in February 2020, but despite repeated requests, the Planning Department did not require the owners to make a planning submission until August 2020. Sadly, the saga is still running and appears to be no closer to a conclusion. The latest position will be given in the Parish Council's meeting to be held after the AGM. Although the Coach and Horses planning issue dominated, it was not the only one. For whatever reason, the Planning Department at Dorchester appears to see the Parish Council as a minor irritant rather than an essential cog in the planning process. As a result, action which is requested from our end is only action belatedly, and then only after numerous emails and telephone calls, which wastes time at both ends. It's as if South Perrot lies at the other end of the earth from Dorchester, rather than a 25-minute car drive away. The net result of such inaction by the County Council is, of course, complacency or downright disregard towards planning procedures and regulations. At the end of the year, the Council briefly appointed a planning officer who liaised closely with us and took immediate action to remove unauthorised building work in the Coach and Horses car park. That individual showed what could be done, but I have to say it was utterly typical that his temporary contract was not renewed, and we have returned to a situation of delay and obfuscation on the part of the Planning Department. Moving on to happier things, our desire to make a difference to the village through enhancement activities was met with a very positive response, especially from Jill Turner, who did a marvellous job acquiring trees and shrubs for the village, and it came in all under budget. At the same time, a proposal was made to engage with the Britain in Bloom competition, but it was agreed that we should start small and work our way up. B. Barber has volunteered to take this proposal further in the new financial year. Our environment will clearly benefit from Jill's efforts, but some villagers expressed concern over dog waste. Although it is not considered a major issue, it was felt that any problem that existed could be mitigated effectively by the acquisition of more bins. They were ordered, delivered, and one is now in place at the end of School Hill and another in Manor Close. The budget itself is in a healthy state, but that is in large part due to previous parish councils' reluctance to spend money. As a result, certain urgent repairs have not been undertaken. The most obvious of this neglect is the parish council notice board in the Pan, which is in a very sorry state of repair. A new one has now been ordered and will soon be in place. The Pan provided the centrepiece for a parish council Christmas tree at Christmas. Generously supplied by Little Groves in Bedminster, it provided a warm welcome to the village for all those driving or walking through. One evening, socially distanced members of the community gathered round for the singing of carols. It was a bittersweet moment as we reflected on a COVID world quite different from the one we were living in only 12 months earlier. The sadness of the occasion was heightened by the unexpected loss of Tony Kennett a few weeks earlier and the resultant resignation of Chris from the council. We thank her for her work that she undertook while she was a councillor, especially with regard to the newsletter and to road improvements. Speaking of the A356, it was an unusual year for South Perrot Parish Council in that the road, was not the dominant topic of conversation. It was a joy during lockdown to have it empty of traffic and virtually silent. It was like going back to an earlier time, though we still managed a couple of potentially life-threatening incidents at the junction of Picket Lane and the main road. Both of these were recorded on a neighbour's camera. The pinch point outside Sarum is and will always be a hazard, which can only be mitigated by drivers slowing down. To that end, the council took the opportunity to spend some of the money in the budget on safety and reducing speed. We will soon have road markings at both entrances to the village, denoting 300, 200 and 100 yards from 30-mile-an-hour speed limit, and also a SID at the eastern end. It is a legal requirement for the SID to be moved periodically, but anyway within a 6-week timetable, which raises the issue of who is going to do the moving. This issue was part of a larger debate over whether the council should employ a lengthsman on a part-time basis to undertake small tasks as and when required. Although there was strong support from certain quarters, a majority felt that volunteers might be garnered from within the community, which would not only engage more people, but also avoid the potential hazards of employing someone. An example of the kind of work that might be done is the village entry gates, which are obscured by vegetation and unpainted. They were part of the original road scheme and would be much more effective if they were looked after and painted white. We have enjoyed regular reports from Sue Coutange, our footpaths officer, and Martin Gillingham, our river warden. In both cases, we have had some success. The damage to Langmore Lane has been repaired, and the long-running problem with flooding at Sarum has, it appears, also been solved. We are grateful to Dorset Council for their efforts in both cases. Our community police officer, Alex Bishop, has unfortunately been unable to attend any of our meetings in person, but we have had written reports. Mercifully, we are relatively free of crime in our village, although there have been thefts of agricultural implements. Rebecca Knox, our county council representative, has been active in supporting us in our disputes with planning and has regularly attended our meetings, offering us often salutary messages regarding finances and services in Dorset. One planning issue that has not so far been mentioned is the solar farm proposal to be built on land belonging to Pipple Pen Farm. It was during the initial stages of the proposal that Jane and I discovered that what we knew as Pipple Pen Lane was being described as School Hill, as that was what was shown on Google Maps. Following discussion with interested parties, including South Somerset District Council, it was agreed that the name should indeed be Pipple Pen. The Ordnance Survey has been informed, and it is expected that a correction to Google Maps will take place at any time. The railway bridge over Pipple Pen has become notorious for flooding over the years, and this year was certainly no different. Cars and people get trapped there, and it seems only a matter of time before a major safety issue arises. The council has made strenuous efforts to contact North Perrot Parish Council, South Somerset District Council and Railtrack, and there are some signs that something positive will come out of these discussions, but there appears to be a great deal of buck passing going on. In the meantime, the effective closure of the lane created a wonderful car and mud-free footpath or cycle lane for residents during lockdown. The solar farm offers the parish council considerable opportunities. Although the location actually lies inside Somerset, the owners of Pipple Pen Farm and the company building the farm have agreed that a percentage of the financial benefit from the farm will be allocated to South Perrot. It is a wonderful, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to have some serious money, and I urge everyone in the village to have an equally serious debate on ways in which it can be spent. In conclusion, I would like to thank all members of the council for their help and support over the past year, and in particular our clerk, Jane Thickness, whose humour, energy and efficiency have been a considerable boon. My thanks also go to Jonathan Baker for his professionalism and commitment, particularly during the Zoom meetings and at other times throughout the year, especially his work with the Parish Council website, which is now simpler to navigate, up to date, and at the same time cheaper to run. I must also mention Vicky Reid, who gamely stepped in to help out when the council was in flux following Cheddington's withdrawal. She helped me enormously during the changeover and has continued to help Jane and the council generally during the past 12 months. So it has been a year like no other, but South Perrot and its council have shown enormous resilience and community spirit throughout. Over the past 14 years, Jill and I have enjoyed great fun and companionship here, and we shall miss everyone enormously. But we're only moving to Bridport, so it's not goodbye, merely adieu. We wish you well. And on that somewhat melancholy note, I hereby tender my resignation as chairman. I did threaten that I wasn't going to attend this meeting, but unfortunately events overtook us. And so I have taken the opportunity at the AGM to tender my resignation as chair. I will, with your forbearance, continue as a member of the council, at least for this meeting, because I would like to speak to the item concerning coach and horses planning later on. So on that note, I pass you back to Jane for item 3, election of chairman.
David, thank you very much, and thank you again for all that you have done for the council since it started in November, so 18 months ago now. You've been a fantastic chairman. You've led us well, set a high standard, and we'll try and keep up the mark as we go forward. And thank you very much indeed. As David said, without a chairman, first thing on his resignation, we need to elect a chairman. So if I could turn to the councillors here, please, and could I have any nominations for chairman for South Perrot Parish Council, please?
I'd like to nominate Jonathan.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you, David.
Unless anybody else wants to stand, but I'd like to nominate Jonathan, the chairman.
We got that.
You, great. Are there any other nominations from the council? In that case, could we have a vote, please? Because for all those, oh, sorry, I've got a second note. Could we have a vote, please, to confirm Jonathan as the new chairman? All in favour, please raise your hands. Thank you, Jonathan. Pass. Congratulations, Jonathan. I'll hand over to you as the new chairman of South Perrot Parish Council. Thank you, David.
Yes, thank you, David. Thank you for your time and effort that you've put in for the last 18 months. Very difficult time setting up a new council, and you and Jane have done an admirable job. Okay, this is now the start of the standard parish council
Jonathan, may I correct you? It's not quite. We needed the financial report for the.
Oh, help! Sorry, carry on.
Just to do that, we could do it next meeting. We will do it now as it's here. Yeah. So we're looking at the annual accounts for the year of 2019 to 2020, and I'm looking for the approval of the council for these accounts. I have circulated the documents to you and presented the accounting governance statement to you. Were you happy with the accounting governance statement? Will you approve them? I need a proposer and a seconder, please.
I'll propose.
Go on.
David proposed, thank you. And a seconder, please.
Seconder.
Thank you, B. Could you raise your hands to show you approve of the accounting governance statement? Thank you. In addition to that, we have to look at the annual accounting statements, and just to give you the figures for the year, the total income for the year was £3,963, and the total expenditure for the year was £3,567.65. The balance in hand on the 31st of March 2021 was £7,195.03. Has everyone seen those accounts? And again, could I have a seconder, a proposer and a seconder, please? If you're happy with the accounts.
I'll propose.
Second.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Jonathan. All in favour, pass them?
In favour.
Thank you. That's really the business of the annual accounts, apart to express our thanks again to Angela Gillingham for doing the internal audit for us. Really appreciate it. It's great to have someone in the village doing it. So thank you very much indeed, Angela. Thank you, Jonathan.